Hello America, welcome back to Unloaded, brought to you by FullMagNews. I'm your host, Grace Boatright. This week we're taking a look at one of the finest firearms ever produced, the Colt Anaconda 44 Mag. I love this gun. This gun has slithered its way into my soul, wrapped around my heart, and started constricting. I love this gun. Makes me proud to be an American. This is the 6-inch barrel model at 13 inches long and 53 ounces in weight. That's over 3.5 pounds. This is not just a gun, really, it's more of a statement. I don't even need to speak. I simply whip out this gun and you know exactly what I'm trying to communicate. I love this gun. It's also known as being one of Colt's MM frames. I can only assume that stands for Massive Mother, because look at it. This is a massive revolver here. It's a 6-round in the cylinder, stainless steel, and 44 mag beauty. And it's so massive, really, and so intricate, so well built by Colt that the manual itself says, don't try to take it apart. We've done a great job engineering this thing. Don't try to ruin it by taking off all the little screws. All the little nooks and crannies in there are meant to be left alone. All we're going to do today is your classic field cleaning, because that's all it's really ever going to need. This particular model retails for around $1,500, and therefore you really don't want a chance taking it apart and ruining anything. On the off chance you think you're having a mechanical failure of some sort, take it to a gunsmith, let the experts handle it. And before you start thinking, wow, $1,500, Grace has some money to blow. No, unfortunately, I do not. This particular gun here is on loan to me by a wonderful man, retired police chief of Orwigsburg, Pennsylvania, Stan Brozana. Thanks, Chief. I appreciate you loaning it to me, and I promise to return it in mint condition. And I'm going to fulfill that promise by not stripping it down to the frame. We're just going to do your traditional field cleaning here, and we're going to start that process right now. Alright, of course the first thing we're going to do is make sure that we're unloaded and safe to proceed. And we are. Okay, as I said a second ago, you don't want to start unscrewing things. You don't really want to strip it down to its frame. Like I said, this thing is engineered so beautifully that just isn't necessary. Especially for just routine cleaning and maintenance. In fact, you're not even really going to take anything off. We did a video a while back on the Ruger Blackhawk, and with the Blackhawk, you do actually take the cylinder off. With this, you just sort of swing it out. It really doesn't come off unless you attempt to dismantle the whole thing, which we are not going to do. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to take a brush, and we're just going to start getting into some of those little areas back here, some of those nooks and crannies, start scrubbing, getting all that old carbon broken up before we wipe everything off. You do kind of want to be a little careful with the rear of the frame here. You want to make sure you don't get anything into that little firing pin hole. You want to be nice and delicate with that. You do want to also pull that hammer back and get into some of that as well. Maybe hold it upside down so any carbon or dirt in there starts to fall out. Let gravity help you. I really do love this gun. I'm a big fan of the large caliber revolvers. Funny enough, Colt, they only came out with this in 1990, which kind of made them late to the game as far as the large caliber revolvers went. But then, in true Colt fashion, they made probably the best one you can buy now, beating out Smith & Wesson's Model 29 and the Ruger Blackhawk, though those are both great guns as well. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get to the barrel. One thing I like to do, I highly recommend, is taking a rag or something and just putting it sort of in the way in case you do sort of get that brush, you're a little too aggressive with it, you don't want to be hitting the back of that frame there. So we're just going to line it up. Just going to stick that brush down there, break up any old carbon in the bore. Of course, we're going to unscrew the brush and not pull it right back through. You just want to do this once or twice. go ahead and set that aside for a minute. Then we're going to get a little bit of solvent here, and I'm just going to kind of spray it down a little bit. Not too much. Going to sort of clean up some of that dirt we just knocked out of there. Really don't want to let it cake in there. A little Q-tip in the back could also be beneficial, getting some of those tighter spots. In a second, we're going to move on to the cylinder and put that brush through the cylinder as well. All right, let's go ahead and do that. I recommend just kind of holding it like that, reaching your thumb in through the frame and holding on to that cylinder, and then just one by one go ahead and stick that brush through. Normally, of course, I say don't bring the brush right back through because it's, you know, not good for it, but it's really such a short channel there. We're going to be able to get all that old carbon out of there no matter what. With that, again, you just sort of want to wipe up anything you just broke up before we switch out the brush for the cleaning cloth holder. All right, cool. Now you're going to take your little cloth holder here. You're going to get a little patch. The bigger patches tend to work for the 44 mag. I don't recommend the small ones. And we're going to get it on the rod. Spray a little bit of solvent onto that, and then we're gonna clean the barrel first. Oh, it's already coming out nice and clean. That's good. All right, excellent. Now we're gonna do the same to the cylinder here. Just gonna go through each one, a little in and out, make sure everything's coming out nice and clean. These are a little bit dirtier than the barrel, so probably going to do that one more time with a different cleaning cloth. Yeah. You just kind of want to do it until everything comes out nice and white. It should be accomplished here in the next one. It's always kind of fun to take this to the range. You know, I walk in with it, or I walk in with my range bag, and I throw my range bag up on the table, and I'm sure all the guys standing around are expecting me to whip out my little Glock, my little LCP or something, and instead I whip out this baby, and eyebrows shoot up all over the range. Like I said, it's a statement. It's not just a gun. It's a lot of fun to shoot. The mags are pretty powerful, pretty strong. And so if you're thinking, I don't know, Grace, 44 mag, it's kind of a lot of kick for me, then switch over to the 44 specials. They're just as much fun with a fraction of the kick. It's really amazing to me. They don't seem to be that big a difference in size, but they are a huge difference in kick. And the specials, you could just shoot those all day long. The gun itself is so heavy that really, whether the mag or the specials, the kick is not as much as you think it's going to be, which is just makes it all the more cool. I even had a little girl, a student, come into the range a few weeks ago, and she was about 8 years old, and I put in some of the specials and had her shoot it, and she loved it. Those made for some really, really great pictures. So I've had a lot of fun with this thing in the couple of weeks that I've had it. All right, so you're just going to take that cleaning cloth, And again, you're just going to kind of wipe everything down, make sure you got it all up. Then we're gonna put the cylinder back, pull that hammer back, and do the same thing back here. Kind of helps to take the brush over the rag, get into those little nooks. So you don't want anything caking up back there. You want that nice, smooth pull back on the hammer. Just like that. All right, cool. Now we're gonna take just a dry cloth. There's really not a lot you want to lube up here as well, especially if you intend to shoot it again soon. If you're gonna leave it in the safe for 6-7 months, then you might lube everything up to avoid corrosion. But really, this is a gun that you want to use. It might be expensive, but it's meant to be used up. And it's one of those guns that actually gets better with time. The more you use it, the more you break in the action, and the smoother things get. That's the beauty of Colt. Can't go wrong with Colt. All right. And you do want to get that muzzle nice and clean as well. You might take one of those old cleaning cloths and just sort of move it over the tip. There we go. Like I said, you don't really need to lube up too much, but just, as a precaution, let's go ahead and put a little bit of lube onto a cloth, and then maybe put a little bit around the frame, around that hammer, just in case. I probably will shoot it again pretty soon, but you never know. I also really recommend getting a little bit of lube in where that cylinder release button is here. You want to make sure that runs nice and smoothly. Maybe pop that out. Get a little bit of lube right in that, where the, I almost said the rocker arm, but where that cylinder is going to swing out right there, that little rod. But otherwise, it's a Colt. It's going to last forever. I love it. Love it, love it. It's totally worth $1,500. Unfortunately, I just don't have that to spend at the moment. But doesn't mean it's not worth it. All right, and there we have it. A nice, clean, lubed up Colt Anaconda. I love this gun. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. For more fun videos and articles, please visit FullMagNews.com. You can follow me, Grace Boatright, at GraceBoatright7 on Twitter. We'll see you next week. Until then, take care, stay safe, stay clean.